So, a common critique of document cameras is that they're just fancy and expensive overheads. Fancy and expensive overhead projectors. And I think what's really clear in this video is in some ways that's true, right? Like an overhead projector, a document camera is able to present a material in an 8.5 by 11 size. But what's different is a couple of things that we see in this video. First of all, we see that a student is able to present work that they have completed during the class period. And certainly document cameras aren't the only tool that allows for that, but what makes them especially salient when plotting on a coordinate plane is that we see that the student, that the representation is very accurate. Unlike if the student had simply drawn those two shapes up on like a hand-drawn axes on a whiteboard or a chalkboard. It's accurate enough that she's quickly able to explain the proportionality of her side lengths by simply counting the accurately drawn boxes. Furthermore, this document camera is able to do something that an overhead projector could not do, which is when we see the students comparing the angles of using tracing paper. Students, and that is, from my practice, one of the best features of using document cameras is that other objects, calculators, rulers, tracing papers, and regular objects, unlike the fancy version required to work on an overhead, are able to be sort of brought into the lesson and presented to the whole class. So in this clip, of teaching, we see the usefulness of document projectors for presenting. Here we just see a singular representation, but throughout the rest of the class period, multiple students project multiple dilation strategies. So students are able to see multiple student-generated representations throughout one class period. The representations do not take time to be reproduced in front of the class. They are mathematically accurate to scale drawings, and students are also able to use other objects such as tracing paper to further their reasoning about the shapes. So those are the main advantages to using document cameras. The main con that I've observed in my practice with using them is how dependent it is to become on them. My document camera in my classroom has been broken for the last 2 weeks, and it's significantly affected my practice. And this week we've been doing an coordinate grid lesson sequence, which has not gone as well as I would have hoped, because students have been having to reproduce their representations on chart paper to be able to present them in large form to the entire class, which A, takes a lot of time, and B, has led to many inaccuracies in the representation that cause student confusion. So the con of any sort of technology is what happens when it breaks, and what happens when it breaks, that you lose all of the pros. So I've definitely seen the benefits that a document camera can produce, specifically